Hello, everyone. My name is Philip.
And I'm Philip Hartshorn.
I just released my film, Trial of the Four Masters. We're going to be doing a sort of classic commentary. We're going to play the whole movie and react to it. What was going on behind the scenes to each of these scenes. Want to know kind of the meaning that we had in mind when we were making it. If you haven't seen the film, please check it out. Trial of the Four Masters, linked here, linked on the channel. This was filmed at the Shaolin Temple in China. And these are real Master Warrior monks from the Shaolin Temple. And it was such a pleasure to capture them. So we'll talk more about it in the commentary. Please check out the documentary if you're curious, you want to learn sort of the reality behind this film as it was filmed in a real temple. And make sure to subscribe. We're going on 250,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, everyone. Make sure to check out Spencer. He has a lovely Instagram where you can see his forging, you can see his calisthenics, and it's a great time. Let us know in the comments what your favorite part of the film was, and if you have more questions for us, I'd love to answer and give you more insight. So here we are, first scene, filmed in a back alley with our friend Lucas.
Yes, actually, I remember when... so Lukasz was a student at the temple. Now he's a disciple of Yenjun Shifu. And he's from Poland. Mm-hmm. And when we were saying we wanted to do a fight scene with him, he insisted.
He did.
He was like, I have the Slavic tracksuit with me.
He did.
And I'm going to be this and he bought cigarettes.
Yeah.
For the scene.
Well, he traded cigarettes with a guy in one of the shops there. It was like, oh, you guys gotta smoke with us. We never see white guys. You gotta smoke with us. And we're like, no, we're training, so we can't smoke. And he ended up trading something to get one cigarette to do the scene. But yeah, he's blowing smoke in my face. So much fun. And there's the glorious Slavic tracksuit, as you can see, in full action. I think that's, oh, look at that. Yeah, looking real fresh. This was really fun. You can see my right arm is pretty much immobile here. I'm struggling to do what I can with it. This was after my injury. I've got it just, my shoulder crying out in pain. And he's shouting in Polish.
He also was, he started off with this sort of tiger stance.
Yeah.
And he had, this tiger form is what he would often perform when we would do these sort of regular performances for local leaders and guests of the temple.
Yeah. It was awesome that we got to include him. So much fun. And then here we are. This was Damoyu.
Yes.
The town that we went to for the weekend, as we talk about in our behind the scenes video. And there's Pierce. More about him later. Aaliyah's brother, great guy. Pierce Will. But yeah, so making this voiceover was something that happened after the fact. Literally all I had in China was I seek out strong opponents, I sleep where I can. That was it. And we knew there was gonna be a trial, we knew everything else. So I had to craft this backwards and kind of take all the footage I had of our fellow students, of all these little mini fight scenes, and make it into something. And it was very hard, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm so happy with how it came out. And there's Tony.
Yes, Tony.
Tony is fantastic, man. He's just this awesome, super soft-spoken, kind person. He's incredibly skilled.
Also a very skilled chef.
And everywhere.
I actually didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. But I mean, you can see he's great at Tai Chi, and we get to showcase that here. I was super glad. And this was literally a 5-minute thing. It's I want to be in the movie when you do this. I was leaving for my flight, the Wushifu thing, and I left. That was it. And here's Juanito. I got to put Juanito my entire life. We love doing fight scenes for so many years, and I was like, hey man, I need a little extra fight scene in here. Let's get you in there. And he was super happy. We filmed this actually in Connecticut, and it was so much fun. And there is not a camera person for this scene. We filmed this alone, and I'm really proud of it considering. And I love this scene because my shoulder was back to full health, healed by my friend Shane, magnificent human, and I was able to punch Juanito right in the schnoz. So much fun, and boom! Gotta throw that in the trailer. It's a good shot. But then there's Tony again. So much fun.
The lounge room where you during training you were able to just
Hang out.
sit. It was one of the only places with chairs.
Yeah. And here's Karan, amazing drunken boxing, which we got to put in. I loved his form at the competition. I was like, dude, we gotta get this in. Can we please do a quick fight scene? This again, maybe 10 minutes. Spencer filmed this, I remember, and we just popped this out.
Also, Karan has a movement studio called Kaizen.
Yes.
And
please go there.
Really amazing mobility and animal flow stuff. In most Mahayana Buddhist circles, this is the first altar in any temple. Is the Tianwangdian, the Four Kings altar, which at the center of it is Maitreya, like the future Buddha. these like 4 trials to have him pass through the 4 world guardians of the Dharma.
And there it is. I got to put in the wooden dummy. I was super happy to do this. This is my dummy, which is awesome to have, and I got to kind of do this as a little bit of training to kind of show my character's growth. But then, of course, got to include my amazing girlfriend Aaliyah, Will, and this was sort of a cool lead into it. I wanted the symbolism kind of being alone with this, dummy.
Everything she did.
And this is, I wanted this to be quite vague, just vague enough so we have an idea of what happened to this guy, but I didn't actually spell out what happened. Did she leave, go somewhere? Did she pass on? Did he abandon her? Did he mess things up? Like, it's just vague enough where you can kind of try to infer what happened, and everyone has their own sort of headcanon for it. We filmed this, and it was so much fun. A beautiful fall day. A couple of days here, and we wanted to just kind of capture this. And the beautiful thing is, this is Aaliyah's improv on the piano. She did this once random improv that she came up with, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous music. The line is super important to the story and the 3rd trial. But there it is, and then back to this lonely.
She turned into a wooden dummy.
Yeah, and it's like a fairy tale. Yeah, she like became a pumpkin because she didn't come home in time or whatever. It's crazy. Yeah, this is me in that same back alley. Kind of reused footage because we had to construct this backstory.
There's Anne.
This was such a quick scene. You won't believe how fast we filmed this. Maybe another 5 minutes again. And it was like testing my filmmaking knowledge. Like, this shot, this shot, this shot, go, 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 go. And there's no sound in this scene. So I had to construct it and put back in sword sounds. But she's a great martial artist. Easy. Yeah, like one take on everything. Super quick. And here's Pierce. Aaliyah Will's brother, Pierce Will. Amazing actor. You can see him in American Horror Story. You can see him in Step Up and several other shows. So happy I got to include him. Obviously very good friends, being Aaliyah's brother. And he's, to his credit, he's not done a lot of fight work. He's done some stage kind of combat at this point. But he did so well in this. I'm so impressed. And of course we got to, play off each other. It was such a good time. And what I wanted to do here is show a contrast between my character and him. If you notice, I said he rose to the top and chose to train in solitude. Okay, and then did he do the trials? Did he complete them? But he's not fighting. He trains in solitude. He doesn't fight anymore in this kind of like underground club. So what did he do? What did he come to realize? He realized he shouldn't be doing it. He did what my character didn't, and I wanted to show that contrast here. I love how he says this line right here, coming up.
I can't stop. You already know what I like.
Yeah, he nailed that. So great. He sold it. I really wanted this kind of like, again, superhuman scene, because even the flashbacks with Leo is not a lot of dialogue. I really want to have a human back and forth that's not so mystical and so lofty as the rest of the film is, pretty much from this point on. There's almost no kind of like normal speech. Spencer's talking about philosophy and almost everything he says. The Master's obviously these beautiful martial arts ideas, and this was just kind of this look into this man's life. And you can see my reaction there as he walks away is not, it's like he kind of knows he's spiraling, but I don't know if he doesn't care enough to stop. He doesn't care anyway. And as you'll see in this scene coming up with Spencer, my character he's so hell-bent on what he's doing because of losing his person, his girlfriend, who knows, his friend, we don't really know, that he is so hell-bent and so angry and so obsessed that he doesn't even observe what's in front of him, to the point where it's Spencer. He's right doesn't even know it's the same person by the end of the film, the 4th Master. And this was a laughter-filled situation.
Yeah. I'm very difficult to film with because I just keep laughing.
Looking for the temple.
But it was so fun.
I'm not a trained actor.
You did fantastic, man. I love what you did here. I love how you did this. And of course, I was just as maniacal in this scene. There's a scene where he says, "Some say there's 4 masters." How do you know about that? And I said, "A 4th master." In my, David Hayter Solid Snake voice, and of course I'd ruined.
What's the 4th master doing out here?
What's the 4th master doing out here? So I ruined whatever choices he was making at the time, and so much fun, man.
Tell me what I need to know.
And again, I remember Juanito filmed this actually, who was in the earlier fight scene. I love these shots. And this is actually Lucas. Lucas got these shots for me. I messaged him and I was like, can you get a couple shots of the Masters I need for this film? And he was like, I got you. Gets these beautiful shots that he brought afterwards. And you may have seen that one in the documentary as well. So much I loved it. So thank you so much,
Lucas
Lucas.
is a wedding photographer.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Achieve the power that you seek.
But this scene, yeah, we had in Daomo Yu, you want to just repeat briefly from the other one, Spencer had brought the Zhuangzi.
Yes, the Zhuangzi. And we were
Worked hard.
I was just so excited about the Zhuangzi, as anytime someone mentions the Zhuangzi I get, and I just need to share it. And we were talking about this
This particular passage.
yes, this line at the end of the Secret of Caring for Life
Right.
chapter, which I mentioned in the other video, but I really love the Burton Watson translation. And so we were like, oh, we need to do, it has to do with like smoke burning out from a fire and not knowing where the fire goes or where the wood goes, where the smoke goes.
Yeah.
It's esoteric, but we're like, oh, let's build a fire.
Yeah. And it was just like, it was inspiring us. It was going, we made it physical. We get to get the fire in front of us, and it kind of like affected our mood and everything. It was great.
And you're just calling me names.
Yeah, and he's just so blind, my character, and that's what I liked about him. Is I want to see someone who's completely obsessed with like power, that he can't even appreciate the masters in front of him, the beauty of what he's seeing, and you'll see that change as the film goes on. I react differently. We'll get into that, but again, what I love about the scene is the philosophy, and we had this sort of happy accident where Spencer was trying to remember, as we said in the behind the scenes, he's trying to remember the exact translation, didn't have the book, said it slightly different in kind of his own version, but then it plays perfectly into the story later of how when he says it, like the actual words in Chinese,
I don't have time for
and what that means, and we'll explain at the end. But he asks, does anyone know where it goes here, which is very significant.
Yeah.
For any slightest difference.
It's, now looking at this again, it's interesting that like you've wandered for like so long to try and find what you find is me.
It's
with the information, and you don't have time for me.
and that's it. That's the trial.
Yeah.
He's the final trial, and he walks away. That's how blind he is.
Maybe that could have been the only trial if there would have been a different mindset.
It's like maybe that's what Pierce's character did. Maybe because he knows about the forest. Maybe he walked in. He said, "Walk 24 hours, you find what you need." Maybe he found this guy, turned around and left. It's like
true.
So it's beautiful. And here is first kind of like shot where there's people everywhere next to us here. We had to work so hard to not show the people just everywhere because everybody wants to see it. It's gorgeous, piece of history. But here we are walking in. This was, I believe, after all the fight scenes were filmed, and we had to clean up and get this last conversation pieces. And again, this was my absolute favorite part of the architecture in this next kind of across the bridge.
This is
before the altar.
Happened to be the building that we would dine in, where the Jaitang, like the monastic dining hall, was. So we'd walk through this gate every day, 3 times a day.
Yeah, really, really beautiful. And I'd always just want to stop and like look at it. So gorgeous. But here we go. This shot here.
There's a sign that says, "Why do we light incense?" Explanation.
It's for the viewers now. But here we are, and there's the incense, and I love this shot. This was filmed by Utsav, fellow student. He has a really good eye. He was actually kind of he wanted to get into YouTube and film at this point. So it was great, and I was like, man, you get a really great eye. If you want to help out with this, he's like, heck yeah. This scene might be my favorite in the entire film. I love this arm grab. Like that shot of you is crazy. And it just has,
he got his shoulder injured.
Yeah, that was it. that arm grab was it. Yep. But no, it was so much fun, and we were laughing so hard filming this, as always, having a great time. And as Juanito always says, when I'm with my friends, my cheeks hurt in like 5 minutes, just smiling so hard. And it's no different with
like
this.
A month and a half of laughing.
Yes.
Just having a kung fu slumber party every day.
Yeah, we were pretty much just like kids. Like, what if we like went to China and like right now? Essentially. Oh, here we are. So this is one of those kind of nice lineups. If you want to talk about it, you're the expert.
Yeah, these are the Siddhatianwang, like the 4 Lokapala, or like the heavenly guardians of the Dharma. or these wrathful entities that are like all protecting Maitreya or just protecting the Dharma. Maitreya is welcoming everyone into the temple.
Yeah, and I think it is actually we planned after to have it that the four represent the four cardinal directions because we had thought, oh, I walked through there, it's perfect, and here is Ushipu, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend. And this was a fight scene where I couldn't move my right arm. He said, don't worry, we'll figure it out. We'll do this kind of Dan Chisao. Put your right hand behind your back in a challenge.
I do remember in the Wing Chun demo video that there was a comment saying, like, mentioning that Ushipu was like an older man.
Yeah, there was several.
Set the record
so
straight.
Many videos were like, this old man, still so strong. That's the power of martial art. And I was like, I'm older than him. He's not an old man. He's
Just a timeless entity.
Yeah, he's just like, he's ageless. There's no age that you could
He
assign
was
to
born
him.
looking
Yeah.
just a fully grown martial master.
He was 1 year old when we filmed him. Really skilled for his age. But yeah, look at that. I mean, this is what I was saying earlier. This is completely improv from him. Me kind of reacting, you know, throwing out some defense for him to destroy. Besides those first 5 moves, which are choreographed, this is him just saying, don't worry, I got your back. I'm gonna, you know, beat you up, but not hurt you at all. It's gonna look great. You see the dust flying off my face. It's insane, and I love that we had these shots. This is where you and Lucas were both filming here, and it was funny because we started to film with you, and he's like, "Go get Lucas. We need 2 people on this double." And he's, if you don't know, he's worked with Donnie Yen, Jet Li, and all sorts of amazing martial arts film, from Yip Man on, like kicking the cloth on my shirt at max speed but not touching me. Incredible control. Such a great scene. This was a
He's
pleasure.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh.
And
Yeah, he is.
he's
And
great.
this is the takedown I talk about. Watch him teleport here. Ready? You see that?
Oh,
What
yeah.
the heck was that? He moved faster than the speed of light. And he perfectly protected my right shoulder. Did you catch it? I smashed into the concrete, completely fine with my injury.
I remember telling Wushifu, like, he's just really injured his shoulder. We just got back from the hospital.
Yeah.
It's not good. And he's like, don't worry, I'll just avoid the shoulder. And then
Yeah.
he did, it seems.
And it's like, what? Yeah, he just did. He's that good. This was really fun. We got to include it. Then he actually just did this on the spot. This was not part of the script. He just said this profound message.
Yeah, like, say something if you want to say something. And then just...
Yeah, he just went. He just went for it, which again shows his knowledge and his passion. So awesome to be able to include this. And again, I hope it's fun for you guys. I hope it's educational. Please, if you want to see more of him and the other masters, watch the documentary. And that that separate video of him training with me. The martial arts application for Wing Chun. Just so much. Oh, and this is just out of control. I actually don't know what this form is. Is this his, like...
This looks like Fanzichuan, like a sort of variation on the... I don't know how I translate Fanzichuan, like the flipping fist or the upside down fist. The form that Jet Li does at the very end of Fearless, I think that is.
Oh man, I got kicked there. That was real. Not that anyone could doubt it, I guess. That was real. And that was my injured thumb, which I don't think he knew, which was so funny. He just grabbed it. He like sensed weakness and he was like,
Yeah.
we can use this. Just cranks the
I need a
thumb.
real reaction.
But he's a, Chin Na, like mastermind too, so that was, he could sense my weakness. And
It says Shaolin Temple.
shouted. Yeah, it's funny if we were to hear this right now. He's like telling me, he's like, look up slowly,
Yeah.
look at the sign, stand up, walk. He's just like created this whole thing. He's like, yeah, I want you to actually like do this, and then I want it to be like you walk after me, and then we just teleport, and we're in front of the Shaolin Temple. I'm like, hell yeah, done. Like I don't, you don't question it. Okay, when a martial arts master is like, we're doing this now. It's like, okay, sounds good to me. And I walked in looking dejected there. This is one of the most beautiful sets, I think, too. I love this. And this is the area on the way to the abbot's quarters.
Yes.
The abbot's quarters.
Yeah. It's a very, very interesting temple in that it has this sort of Rujia Confucian influence, and then also this Daojia, like Taoist entities that are like immortals and protectors in this Buddhist monastery.
It's so beautiful, guys. And I've showed, you know, as much as I could in all the various media here, but it's just so breathtaking. This was a fun scene. This is a great time.
About the fourth trial?
There's that red soil.
Yeah.
Soil in Yunnan is very iron rich,
Yep.
so it's just the red land.
Yeah, that's on my face. Because we wanted to show that, okay, he's getting more battle damaged, like Goku every time he fights. There's a funny thing, my character was a jerk, so Spencer like muttered an insult as I walked away. He's like, "Get jerk." It was hilarious. This is Dushifu. It was great.
Just after a big meal, it looks like.
Yeah,
Just
it was funny
having a
because
sigh.
there was no shots gotten of him just like sitting there. I had to like take it. That was a slow mo shot of him being like and standing up.
Oh.
There's no like this. See, that's all it was. He's as we said before, just such a powerhouse, and he's a performance background, as Spencer said. So he's just like perfect form on everything he's doing.
Yeah, he's really
Real crisp, you know.
technician.
This is the point where I could not use my arm to max potential. I was in agony, and it was like this fever dream because I'm like, I have an opportunity to do this fight scene with this like masterful legend, and I can barely like hit. And I have to say I'm proud of what I was able to do with what we had. Because Spencer can tell you, man, I was stressed. I was like,
Bad way.
yeah, I was like, I need to do this well. I'm trying my hardest, and it was so hard. But I mean, hey, it's a classic kind of example of, you know, just stay positive, get through it, you know.
And I was so like at the Shaolin Temple, I was interpreting
Oof.
6 or 5 of the 9 hours of training.
Yes.
Like while training, interpreting for the Shifu and other people.
Yeah.
And this was filmed during like the times of the day where I was able to like take a nap or like
Yeah.
sit and read or something.
It was like a study in, you know, like a social experiment to see if someone loses their mind. If we just take every second away from
that aerial.
that aerial is
Get over
so
that aerial.
clean, man. Yeah, we talked about it before. He's like so casual as he lands. Great.
This is also where a lot of testing ends up getting done each month.
Awesome, because what a beautiful place. You got the seats and stuff. It's just so cool looking. Looks like he took a chunk out of my face there, but he didn't. Great control. Oh, awesome. Now this is, of course, as you can see, there's a lot of repetition in this, as is the way in a lot of kind of like epic poetry, like Gilgamesh and everything. I love stuff like this. What we want to do is have each of the masters here. If you notice, they do a martial arts form after they give me the test or the lesson, whatever. And it's just kind of this,
of existence.
you know, moment. And you'll notice my character is kind of growing in his insane journey here. Whereas in the first martial arts form by Wushifu, and then he walks away, my character, you know, runs after him and says, "Where are you going? Stop!" runs after him, and like Wushifu has to suppress me again, and then he walks away and kind of has this like moment where he looks up at the temple. For this time, I wanted to have a different reaction. My character is kind of starting to appreciate maybe that martial arts isn't about only destruction and violence, and he's kind of like, look at this beautiful form by Dushifu.
Shantaiji.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you win by like you get to see this
Right.
this kung fu.
Yeah, this is your reward. Okay, you didn't die in the trial, and this is your reward. This is cool. This was his thing. Funny story. He said this as the Grand Abbot. It's his title, right?
Oh, the head abbot,
The head abbot
Fang Zhan.
walks out as he's like saying, "Awesome moment." But here we are. This was such a beautiful set. People everywhere. So we couldn't get this wide shot from the side, but I wanted to get that. That was actually a shot I got that morning at like 6 a.m. whatever, when we're sweeping the temple. This scene was the final of the 3 kind of conversations that I have with Spencer inside the temple. And this is where, again, my character is a little more inquisitive. He's a little doubtful about himself. He doesn't feel like he's winning, because to him winning means violence. It means like beating up your opponent to within an inch of their life. And you know, wrenching information from them.
I wish you all the
So he's kind of like, doesn't feel like I'm you know, in the lead here. And then he moves on and he says, "Who are you?" He's getting kind of curious, but not smart enough to realize that he's one of the masters. And here we are. This was a really cool area where we trained the Meihua poles, which you've seen in the
Yes.
documentary. And this was, I think, the perfect place to do the wrap up, because as we did the forms before, this time we have it so Yan Junqifu, he's, you know, he's awesome, he's powerful. I was like, we got to make this one special. You know, we really want to showcase his skills. He's doing something that very few people can do in this world, essentially. So
This is a very dangerous game, Meihua,
which I
and he
played
is a master.
Yeah, and I, you know, was very quickly humbled on these tools here.
I think it was maybe a month or two after this was filmed that Lukash
Ooh,
fell from the Meihua poles and
it was
got very badly injured.
it was gnarly, his injury. Yeah, he was, yeah, very terrible. But here he is. Beautiful, beautiful martial art. If you want to learn more, check out the documentary. We cover it in a nice section. And to me, it really was sort of the most like visually striking. And to this day,
He's just like ethereal.
yeah, look at him punching on there. Like,
I don't know if you realize how high those poles are.
yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's terrifying to be up there.
Yeah, and it is raining at one point during this. So,
Yeah,
as
you
can
see
so,
the rain there?
So he's on these metal, sharpened, like, you know, poles.
If you don't move, I won't move. If you move, then I'll move first. I can't tell you how many times he said that to me in teaching me Meihua.
Awesome.
In Meihua, it's believed that the qi, the like origination point of power, comes from nowhere. Whereas like a lot of martial arts say it comes from the ground, like pushing off the feet or the hips.
Right, and there'll be like a chamber too, like most martial arts.
Oh yeah, there's no
That's
chamber.
not the case.
Hands are just at your side.
Yeah, just like power. It's incredible. And this was such a blast. We said earlier, but he is just so much spirit, you know, and so much personality. And we were smiling the whole time. And he was like, you know, I've never done something like this. And he was just so like inquisitive about it. I mean, obviously martial arts are perfect. He has no issue. But it was just, you could tell he was just down to have a great time and kind of do this new experience with martial arts. And he was so good and like receptive to, you know, and I'm like, can I like give him instruction on choreography? You know, that was so much fun. That sequence when we're in the hallway, it kind of like smashes my face.
Oh.
And there it is. There is the injury. Look at this. You see that? You see that one cringe? That was it. That was the moment of like, and I lay there for a second. I cut it out. I lay there like for a moment before I got up. Like, oh, I'm done. Yeah, yeah. I woke up in a cold sweat. And yeah, this one shot where I raised my arm, tear out. It was, yeah. There's the smile. It's like one of my favorite shots in the film.
Character.
Yeah, that's a character. And you can tell he's just so happy to like showcase it, which I love, and kind of share the knowledge.
Like the meaning of the word shifu is shi is teacher and fu is father. And I feel like out of every shifu I've had, Yanjun Shifu is the most like those two ideas put together. Like he wants to help lead you through the world, but then he's also just your teacher.
What I love about him is he is, as we said earlier, like, and he says this in the documentary, his speech about this, like he is not afraid to teach Gong Fu to everybody, not just Chinese people. He's very open, he's very generous as the teacher, and it's so nice to see. This is awful to feel.
Oh.
This is not a special effect. He did like grab my, you know, life force and almost remove it from my armpit there. That was incredibly uncomfortable, but skillful that he didn't hurt me. Yeah. And this, of course, is the moment where my character has his, you know, why am I losing these tests? Why am I, you know, not progressing? It's, how do I feel like I'm losing? And this is the final strike. He decides, thinks back to, you know, what someone once told him in his life. Are you ever going to stop fighting? Which, in my mind, was the last thing he heard from her. You know, maybe before she passed on, or, you know, in my mind, maybe they kind of just drifted apart. He messed it up from being too obsessed with this insane pursuit. And, you know, that's been echoing in his head ever since. Will he ever fight? And it's like, how? That's what I am. That's what I do. And, you know, he can't escape it. And then in this moment, he finally is able to You know, just stop for a second, and maybe observe for once. Maybe just live, and maybe just exist, and not be obsessed with power, not be obsessed with violence. And I think these are symptoms of many a martial arts practitioner. And early on in their training, sometimes too, is too obsessed with the wrong things. And I really wanted to kind of showcase some of the growth I've personally experienced as I've gotten a little bit older.
Yeah. And the ideas that like I can't change.
Yeah, totally. I felt that a lot in my life, and it was cool to kind of try to express that here.
Wait. Hey.
This was kind of funny because I kept grabbing my shoulder in the film. It's like it actually hurt because I couldn't. I was like, "Oh, this is an easy sell. No acting." And it was funny because this door is like an antique, and if you see, I'm like, when I hit it, look at I'm not gonna hit it hard. This beautiful door. So I was like, "Yeah." And here we are, back to Spencer. And again, I think what's interesting is even though he had that big moment, he still hasn't realized who Spencer is, who Spencer's character is. And as we said, if he had just, maybe been more present, paid attention, he might have avoided many a battle here.
How do you know?
But I like how you answer these questions. You say, "I see." You don't confirm it's right. And you're like, interesting perspective there. Like, interesting choice. You don't say you lost. You don't say. You say, "What are you gonna do now?" It's very thoughtful questions. But even here, you can see my character. Look how he's talking. It's different. In the beginning, he's like, "Tell me what I need to know. Tell me what I gotta do." And now he's kind of like, "It's all I have." He's kind of like struggling. What's the next step? And then of course the big reveal. I love that shot through the flames. That is one of my favorites.
You shaved your beard.
It's like, you shaved your beard. And he's like, "Do you understand what this means?" No, you fool. I'm the fourth
I'm the guy.
Yeah, I thought this was awesome. He just stands up and kicks him. This is a great way to teach people when they're not listening. Just kidding. But yeah, it's a great scene, and this is kind of the. And you had said this yesterday when we did the screening, right? You're like, you love how our trial is not like this big fight. A little bit different.
Yeah. Also, I was just so afraid to be put in the same league as the Masters in this film.
Yeah, we talked a lot about this actually. Do we make a big fight scene? We're like, no. I mean, this is past the climax. This is the denouement. We're gonna kind of express a couple ideas here, and this is it. This is the pure kind of text of what.
That is the classical Wen Yan Wen of that line of the Zhuangzi.
Right. And BC, I say, how do I know where it ends? And that, of course, is the same question. It's written, does anyone know where it goes? The fourth trial. What is the fourth trial? Is it life? Is it living? Is it, just kind of taking the next step, soldiering on? And there he is. He continues his journey, no matter what it is. And
like maybe this is the fourth trial.
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't.
Life.
Yeah, we don't really hear from Spencer what it is, and then of course the quenching the fire. What does that mean? Is it his like flames of rage or whatever it was? Is it him kind of accepting himself? And also, sort of the vagueness of the backstory that I wanted there is, I wanted the audience to say like, what is he gonna do next? That's kind of why I included that. I was like, oh, is he gonna is that person possible to be reconnected? Even Pierce's character. Is he gonna go? And I had called him my friend, and the thing's okay. This is someone maybe he trained with, and then they kind of separated because it's two totally different mindsets. And I wanted people to kind of say, oh, maybe he goes back there. Maybe he does something totally different. Maybe he stops training altogether, and maybe it's living itself in like a non-violent way.
Maybe he finds the girl again.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he goes and makes amends if that was a thing, if she's around. Like it's. So yeah, I wanted to kind of have that little bit open-ended, and I wanted to be a thoughtful ending. Not just like I wonder what happened to the guy. I wanted you to think about, that line. I wanted you to think about what it might mean for you, what it might mean to everybody, and the whole thing. I wanted you to kind of look back on it and say like, what was this? Like, what was this trial? If you notice, we don't really ever explain what it was. Like, where is the temple? Is it like a magical place that's hidden? Like, how does nobody know where it is? It's a massive temple. Is it the underground fighting? The Chinese underground? Is it like what is this? A secret?
Just appears out of the void.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's like another dimension, or something. You like walk through a gate and you're there and then it's gone. Is it in his head? Is it this? Is it that? So yeah, I just wanted to kind of make this thing, and I'm so happy that from what it started out as, like we had a couple minutes to come up with this story, because if you don't know, we said it in the behind the scenes, I think, right? Like we had a few hours to come up with the story. I pretty much wrote. I was like, we had literally sometimes 5-10 minutes in between training. That's it. Like train 9 hours a day, and in between it was like go run to fill up your water because you're so sweating so much you're gonna like pass out. Go fill up your water, run to the bathroom if you have to, do this, do that. And in that time I was like with a pencil like writing down this thing. And I'm just so glad that a lot of times in life we can kind of quickly, just like filming the scene when I was injured, very quickly say like, it's too much, I'm too stressed, let's just not do it. Let's just not do it. And Spencer's been, parlay to many moments in my life. He's responsible for these moments. He said to me sort of, so I'm going to Nepal in 5 days. You could come. And the way he said that just burned through my soul. And unless you have any valid excuse.
If there's a reason not to, then don't.
Yeah. And there's no reason. There's no reason. So
he came.
And I came to the same thing with China. And I decided to go, and it was like, one of the most meaningful times in my life. And, to have these chronicles of that time is just a personal joy alone. That, we'll be looking at this thing in 20 years and be like, awesome that we filmed it. It's incredible that we filmed it. But beyond that, to share with you guys, and the documentary alone has just had so much joy and so many positive reviews. Like, thank you guys. And so many questions that I hope I was able to answer with this and the numerous videos. But again, just thank you so much for watching this commentary as well. And please check out the behind the scenes. We did a comprehensive kind of just like anecdotal behind the scenes. Super fun. So please check that out. And please, with this new perspective, go watch the film again. And let me know if kind of your headcanon or your interpretation of the film was accurate to what we were going on. And I also want to say, if you had something different from mine, like, I'm not going to say it's wrong. I love that you have come up with something, and please let me know what your interpretation was. As I said, I wanted to be pretty open-ended. So I would love to hear what you guys got out of it, if it made you feel anything, and what your favorite fight scene was, what your favorite martial art was. I'd love to hear all of it. And thank you all so much for listening to us chat. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Follow on Twitter, follow on everything. We're all over the place. And thank you, Spencer, for joining me. Want to do this forever, and we finally got together. So much fun. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day.